Dreamers Welcome Podcast.
Dreamers Welcome Podcast. We are back in the building, ladies and gentlemen. I go by CEO PESO, blessed and highly favored. Feeling good right now. Feel great, man. I'm gonna do something real quick. Got my guy in here. It's been a minute. Damn near 20 organic subs on YouTube. Over 1 million fucking views on YouTube. Organic fan base. JD Legends, August 13th, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
1,000+ tickets sold. Doing numbers, trials and tribulations. Stepped back, came back hard. This guy is a walking testament. This guy is somebody that's hopes and dreams. If it got to the best of him, he overcame it. I'm fond of this man just for the fact that I've seen the success, whatever struggles he chose to put out. He let us see it, and he came through it. Introduce yourself, brother.
What's going on? First of all, thank you. That was a great introduction. My name is Bubby Galloway. I'm from East Dayton, Ohio. You know, and I make music. That's it. I'm just a musician. Nothing bigger, nothing less than that.
Yeah, man, I'm like Stephen A. Smith to these YouTube stats, man. I be paying attention. I'm like, damn, bro, you got like, just a great following that's building up. And then before we start, we always be having good convos for the start, but you was just saying you don't even know how bigger it can get or what like where it can go to. So is that something you think about a lot? Nah,
bro. Like we was talking before we got on here. Like I'm from that era where you burn a CD, hand it out. You know, so I never the Stephen A. Smith of the analytics, bro. I don't pay attention to the analytics because I never knew those existed. Mm. You know, now I am because people keep bringing them up, and you know I follow. I think I'm getting close to like 4 million on YouTube somewhere around there, but it's just consistent, just staying consistency, man. Like I've known that for the longest. Like if you drop a record, you shoot a video, and you stay consistent, bro, they're waiting for you,
right?
And that's where I feel like a lot of people fail, and even myself over the years. I've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
And here. You know, when I would peak and drop back down, it was only because I wasn't active. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't staying consistent. Mainly because I really never had the funds. Like I was telling you, I always used to try to book you as a videographer. I just never really had the bread, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's the thing, too. Like, I realize, like, when you do got people that's really down, that's waiting, they kind of don't go nowhere. But it's a gift and a curse because it's like when you step back, you lose a couple followers. But then, you know, when you stay consistent, it's kind of like a thing that just you can't let them down at this point. Like, just how you said you stepped back and came back. You came back fucking strong.
Yeah.
So now it's like, no matter how hard it gets, it shouldn't be a slowdown, if that makes sense. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to let the followers down, but really, man, I don't want to let myself down, bro. Like, the way I think of it now, when I create music, when I put out music, I'm thinking of the 15-year-old that sacrificed all his memories to learn how to compress a vocal, EQ a vocal, learn what reverb was, learn how to like compose a record.
Yeah.
You know, and I spent all that time, man, like all of my teenage life, the better half of my 20s, like to give that up, like it almost feels like what is life for if I was to give it up. So
yeah,
the fact that people listen to it and support it is it's a blessing, man, and I'll never take that for granted. I'm very humbled by it. And I can only hope that it continues to grow. You know, this is what we dream about. This is what we dream about. That 15-year-old kid I was talking about. Literally. That's what I dreamed about.
And we come from the era when, like, it took so much endurance, skill, and effort to learn back then. Because now it's, like, I was just watching somebody's video. You know, he make all his music on his phone. He hook guitars up into his phone. Yeah. You know what I mean? So the ease of it now, it's kind of like I don't take nothing away from it, but we just come from that analog era where we really had to crack down and, you know, put out fucked up shit, get criticism, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man. Like when I was learning it, I never knew YouTube was a hub for you know.
That's how I learned videos. I ain't go to school for that.
Yeah,
it's YouTube, but it's just cracking down on that shit and learning it. And I say that to say because that's some of the things that I do too to keep me going is like looking back on the 17, 18-year-old self and kind of like, damn, like you put in all this work, you gotta give it to yourself. I was gonna ask you that too because we bounced it, but it just seemed like sometimes you be like super hard on yourself.
In what aspect? I
Like,
probably have an answer for that.
I don't know. Like, it's more so you don't want to let yourself down, but at the same time, like I just feel like you got a certain aspect of like how, not like you care about how people see you, but you don't want to let people down, like in a sense, like or your family too. Cause I seen the
I mean,
post about your
yeah.
daughter and
A lot of this is about my family, and most of them they ain't here. So it's like, I mean, it's the same thing. Like I said before, I don't want to let my 15-year-old self down, but at the same time, there was people that was around that 15-year-old me that aren't here. That this is all I got. This is all I got that keeps me connected with some of those people.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of people that depend on me and they have expectations for me, but I don't know, man. I don't really have expectations for myself. I just know that this is how I stay connected with those people that ain't no longer here. And so yeah, sometimes I can be a little hard just in that aspect, man. That's the only way to stay connected with some of my good friends, you know, that's no longer here.
So okay, so in the break that you took, was that more so, would you say that was like you fell into a state of depression possibly?
Absolutely. That came from I'm one of them guys that read the comments, bro. Okay. And you know, I'm learning not
gift
to.
And a curse.
It is a gift and a curse, because I can get 100 heart reactions. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that one thumbs down and be like, why? Yeah. Like, why don't you like this? You know what I'm saying? And it's like it would get to me, you know, because I felt like what I was talking about was authentic and relatable. But when I'm, you know, and it usually is, like I said, I can get 100 heart reactions, but that one negative one that's telling me like, oh, you're only growing because people are, you know, sympathizing for you, or you're trying to make people feel bad for you. I'm not trying to make nobody feel bad for me. So yeah, I did take a break. I did give up because I got to a point where I'm like, I can only make music that is sad or like depressing. So I stepped away from it for a real long time. Matter of fact, me and you have a mutual friend, and me and him, Cap.
My God, I was gonna bring him up too. Yeah.
So Cap called me kind of when I was slowly like working my way back into, you know, building some content, and he's like, bro, you really got it. And I'm telling him like, bro, I'm struggling writing music because I can only write about how I feel, bro. And I, you know, when I step in front of a microphone and get in front of music, I'm brought back to the era we was just talking about, you know, the early 2010, 2009.
Yeah.
So I think about those people who are no longer here on this earth. So like, my music just comes out sad, and that's what Cap was telling me. He's like, man,
they feel you.
Yeah,
I looked up on that when you said he said that.
Mm-hmm.
It was so understanding, because like in my perspective, people could be quick to say you make this emo music,
yeah,
but it's not as like drugged out as like what others people's music is. Like I was listening to like a lot of your joints, and it's therapeutic.
Yeah,
it comes off very like not for the camera, but it come off like in a poetic way. It's not like a cry for help. It's kind of like I don't know, like you kind of just navigated yourself through it.
Bro, the only way I can describe it, bro, is I record by myself, just sitting down in front of a mic, very similar to this. It's almost like a therapy session for me, bro. Instead of sitting in front of a counselor who really don't know me, because I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's what music is to me. I'll just sit there and I release how I feel. And 90% of the time when I'm out and about mingling with people, I'm not feeling depressed. But when I step in front of that mic, I'm brought back to them days where them people, like I keep mentioning, they're no longer here. So like, that's just a way for me to get my emotions out, is music. Bro, I'm really inspired by like DMX and Bone Thugs and things like that. So I also know that is music is a release, bro. I grew up listening to pain music.
Yeah.
So I know that that's an option for me, and it's working for me. So, you know, that one thumbs down we was talking about, I no longer let that alter the way I feel. And I know that there's so many people that can relate to the music, understand the music, and it really, I believe that I've saved lives just based off of the messages that I received. I really do think people need somebody like
definitely
me. Yeah.
And if it ain't the music, it's definitely the the moves that you make. Like, I go to my notes real quick. 'Cause I like this, what you said. You said, I want to document more my losses so you guys can understand my gratitude. That, to me, stood out to me because inspiration you'll be surprised how much it's not going through music. It could just be a post. It can just be, people love transparency.
Yeah, I mean, just as a fan of it, like I just mentioned DMX, like that's really one of my favorite artists, not just because of the music, look what he's been through. And I feel like, for me, I caught myself only posting on social media when it felt like a win.
Right.
And when I went back and looked at it, like, these people really think I'm up. I'm not. I'm not up. So it's time to, like, I really want to start letting y'all know, like, this didn't work for me.
Yep.
That didn't work for me. Like, there's a lot. I'm taking losses every day, bro. Every single day. So I caught myself posting the wins and I didn't like it. That's what that post probably stemmed from.
Yeah. And it's hard to upkeep an image like that because I'm a victim of that because I used to just post up a lot of, great stuff I was doing. But in the back end, it just was like not satisfying. Like, it just was like, man, I'm doing this shit and getting caught up in it. But then you get to reflecting, like, people fucking with it, but the back end of the real life ain't making sense. Like, it's fucking, like I was just saying, like, this highway flowing, road running, trying to do this shit, a lot of people don't understand. And then I feel like when I started putting that out, because I was working on my documentary, people love that. People love to see the fucked up bank account. People love to see it's hard being a father doing this, man.
Bro, look at this, bro. Just like you said, the fucked up bank account. Well, you can't see because I got so many damn apps. But my screensaver is my analytics from 2019.
Yeah.
Nobody was listening to me, bro. And that was my motivation. I turn on my phone every day and see that I was somebody at some point to my community. And I feel like no one was listening to me the way I thought they should have been.
Yeah.
And I let that be fuel. That's fuel, bro. Like, I felt in 2019 that was an L for Bubby. 2020 was better. 21 was even better. I'm hoping 22 is going to be
it's
4
increasing.
times. Yeah.
Oh, I meant to say, too, top 20 on the iTunes joint.
Yeah, we
that
got
was big.
number 3. Yeah.
I meant to, my bad. I meant to say that because that was huge, too. Because, like I said, I'm the analytics. So I had to go personally on my joint, like, man, let me see real quick. And he right in the mix of, like, big name artists. And, like, that, I think that should be enough of a reminder, like, bro, I think you're doing everything correct. You're doing everything correct. And, I think you got it sounds like you don't got a huge support system, but you got enough people that is guiding you in the right direction.
Yeah, man. I just feel like in this era where everything's so quick with the TikToks and the Reels and things like that, it's quick to build, like, an internet following. But what I'm carrying around is, like, I hate to call it a cult because I feel like a cult is so much bigger than what I have right now. But it's people come to these shows, man. People are buying these shirts. People are buying. They bought the album. Yeah. I hate number 3. It's not a Bubby accolade, bro. It's the fans. They bought that album.
Yeah.
They didn't have to. They can stream it for free off Spotify.
Yeah, I seen somebody screenshot it purchased.
Yeah, like, they didn't have to do that. They're already paying a membership to listen to this stuff for free. So it's like, like I said, man, I count the blessings, bro. I'm so thankful I have what I have. The support system I have would never go. I'll never take it for granted. But like I said, they didn't have to buy that. I'm number 3 because of the fans, not because of me. And call me humble, but I'm really downplaying it. I know that's a big deal.
It's
number
3
on
humble brag, man. It's a humble brag because not a lot of people, like, get to even catch that feeling.
Yeah.
Like, now, you know what I mean? So for you to be able, like, I remember I sent Jay a video while I was just on the movie set, and I was able to take time to reflect in the midst of it, of, like, how big it was, of a big deal that I'm able to, to experience opportunity like this. So I think that it just shows, like, for you to be able to take time to reflect in the moment of what's happening, and not take it for granted, because you can be out here, back Bubby from the Buckeyes.
Hey, man, and that's another thing that I tell people. Like, I'm so thankful God didn't give this to me 10 years ago, because I would have been arrogant with it. I'd have blew it. I'd have blew it all. I would have been the guy that's like, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
You know, now you can look at me, think I'm that guy, but like, bro, I'm just on a mission. I'm just trying to, like the 15-year-old me, man. That's literally my motivation, bro. It's like, don't give up on what you was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I got us.
And God ain't gonna bless you with something that you ain't ready for. That's one thing I realized.
Yeah.
Like,
you should clip that.
No,
people really need to know that part.
Yeah, because it's been so many times that I've, been in a situation, and it's kind of like when somebody is like artist is around, like getting a feature with somebody, and you think that's gonna be it, but then the feature don't fall through the way they wanted to.
No.
So, but to me, it's just like shit. Like a lot of situations I was in, he didn't give it to me because I would have blew it.
Yeah,
I would have just fucked up the connection. The younger me would have fanned out over some weird person type shit rather than keeping it professional. So, that just come through trials and everything. And I think with your consistency, that's why you able to say that you can reflect and be like, damn, I would have fucked this up. But now it's coming and you treading through it, knowing how to handle it more.
Yeah, man.
Like just through talking, but and through social media. Like you said, when you started being more transparent, it started showing like, nah, this is really him.
Yeah.
This is really him. He fucked up like everybody else in a sense, and man, I be paying attention, man, because I know people gravitate towards that. We was talking too, man, bro. It's gonna sound like that, but it's like an East-West type thing, to where the support system from the East that y'all get and that you get, because shouts out to you getting the bench. Yeah, which is a milestone because some niggas can't even get trees planted in their name. I was telling my mans that, I'm like, but for you to have that, man, just explain like that support system on the East, and why you think like on that end, like so much support and so much camaraderie comes from like what y'all get over there.
Well, I'll start off by saying I don't really know how it works over on the West Side. Like, I never spent a lot of time over there. I got a couple of friends, But as far as, like, the East, bro, I don't know. To me, my brother was... How transparent can we be on this?
The deep as you want to get, G?
My brother was a very successful dope boy.
Okay.
Put it like that. And... why that's what you think of on the East Side. That's what he was doing. So it's like... Whether he's serving these people or not, I don't know, but it was a quick way to hand our music out, and then they continued to follow it. Like, they just stayed following us, and I don't know how this support system is different from the East to the West, but I don't know, bro. It's like I was blessed with it since I was a teenager, bro. They just stayed with us.
Yeah, and it's not. I want people to understand. It's not like it's just a fucking that big of a trip from the East to the West, but it's funny that on our side of town and how we so deep in on the West Side with a lot of things, it's not like a jealousy thing to the East, but we kind of look at y'all, and I think that's what the moves people study from East Side artists is like, well, what the hell are they doing to build up this fan base, and they try to mimic y'all moves in a sense. Because it shows from like, bro, you just posted up 1,000+ tickets sold. Yeah, artists gotta motherfucker like me. I would go back and look like, well, what the fuck did he do to build up to sell 1,000 tickets, and he's 15 minutes across the bridge?
I don't know, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. I tell people that all the time. I don't know. I truly don't know why they choose to support it. I don't know if it's the transparency we're talking about. I'll be honest with you, I'm not the best artist in the world, and I know that, you know what I'm saying? I've never had a mentor. No one ever taught me anything, bro. It's probably the same with you, but I truly haven't figured it out, but it's got to be a personality thing. They probably are buying into who I am. That's the only thing I can truly think, because I went from 4 or 5 years never recorded a song, like was just done with it. My whole goal is like a kid when I first started was like, Bro, I watched my brother go through hell being a dope boy. Like, most true dope boys don't really want to be a dope boy, bro. Yeah. So he's dumping his bag in this, believing in me. And then when he died, it was like, well, my mission was to get him out the streets. Like, we can be musicians. We can be rappers. Like, we can make money this way. Save your life. And when he passed away, it was like, I was late. And it fucked me up, man, for a long time. Like I said, 4 or 5 years, I didn't record not a single song.
So what was you doing in that 4 or 5?
You really want to know?
Absolutely. If you want to.
Grinding 2K. I felt like when I put on the headset on that Xbox, I was in a different world. I wasn't depressed. That's the truth.
Yeah.
I played video games, bro. Got fat as ever. And just, I mean, I was in a whole different world, man. That's the truth. Grinded 2K for year after year after year. And I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you got a gray hair in your beard right now. Why are you not chasing your dream anymore? And
so, and then that call with Cap is what?
So like I said, I love this. I love making music. So I put out a record. I shot a video that was like, oh, you know, Bubby's might take another stab at this. You know what I mean? And Cap told me, he's like, man, that song's great. It did get a decent reaction for not being around for 4 years. And he's like, he said something along the lines of like, bro, don't be selfish. Talk about how you feel because people feel the same way that you do and they need you. And he wasn't wrong. I was like, all right, bro, I'm going to take that to heart. I'm going to speak the way I feel for these past 4 or 5 years that I haven't spoke about it at all. Just burying these demons, bro. And when I got to dig them up and put them on records, like, I don't know, bro. Like, we keep on talking about the transparency. That's what it is, bro. They're buying into who I am. It's more my story than the music. I truly believe that.
Yeah, it ain't on you to send you. Like, that's one thing for sure. So when you did start to, really put everything on wax with the music, was that a difficult decision to kind of just open up to be like, all right, bro, I'm about to let people know some shit that only you down there knew, like, to be that transparent in music? Was it kind of like a, man, how they gonna take this? Like, hesitant a little bit, or was it just like, fuck it?
I wouldn't say it was hesitant, but I was definitely mindful of, like, you know, somewhat I speak about my relationships or, you know, certain things that I've been through with my family. I don't know if that's going to upset. Like, I never really talked about how I came up with my siblings or my mom or my dad. Like, I just now started talking to them about complications I had growing up because they hear it in my music. They hear it in my music, but we never talked about it. Yeah. So when I released that music, I kind of had my fingers crossed, hoping, like, you know, I hope my mom don't really listen to this because I'm talking about things I never talked about with her. Like, I seen a lot of fucked up things growing up, you know, that we just never talked about. We just kept it, you know, sweep it under the rug. And you know, I talked about it a little bit in some of these records, and it really, by doing that, bro, I've got a real close relationship with my mom and my brothers and sisters. Like, it's been really, really dope to, like, talk about things that I know we all buried for many, many years. And it, like, I don't know, bro, the past couple years.
I get it, because that's what my fam is. Like, we have, like, a sweep under the rug thing, like a time heals all, or you kind of just we don't apologize too much for certain things. It's just kind of like, I think at a certain age it get weird because it's like numbing the shit, and then it's kind of sweeping it by. Like, that affects us. Like, like to my age now, some shit affect me for my siblings and stuff. And I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like when you said, like, therapy really wasn't it, because
I just don't believe in going and talking to a stranger, man. I'm not saying that it doesn't work for people, but for me, it just didn't seem like something I wanted to discuss with somebody, you know?
Even if I did try to do that, I still wouldn't. I would be keeping shit in the back of my head still.
Yeah.
Which would be, it's pointless to go and do that.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
yeah.
Because therapy is like, I guess you're supposed to, you know, just throw it all out and they help you navigate. But it's like you said, I don't know you.
Yeah. I could see where it's beneficial.
Yeah.
But it just didn't seem right for me. And, you know, when I did start opening up and talking about it in the music, it definitely helped me.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a conversation I could have with my mom, because I almost seen my mom murdered, like, when I was 9 years old, in the middle of the winter. Like, by the grace of God, someone came in and, you know, we was able to get out, but we ran barefoot down. Like, it's just things that I'm not gonna talk about the whole story right here, but, like, just things like I kept that since I was 9 years old and never talked about that with my mom.
Yeah.
It's just something I seen. It was something we, like you said, time heals. We just swept it under the rug. And
that's a crazy thing too, because it's like, if you didn't have music to release that, then it's like, what other alternative would it be? You feel me?
That's a scary thing, bro.
Yeah,
And I've never done drugs. I swear to God, I've never done no drugs, bro. In my entire life, I'm 31 years old. I've never done drugs, mainly because of what I seen happen to my mom that night. I never wanted to disappoint my mom. The most disappointing thing I ever did, you know, on behalf of like my mom, was dropping out of school. But I would never do no drugs. I would never drink anything like that because I never wanted to hurt my mom. I almost lost her.
Right.
You know, so I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how I would do it without music.
Yeah.
I really don't. I couldn't turn to drugs, but I see all my friends, like a lot of my friends, we share a lot of the same problems. Luckily, I have my mom and my dad, but I had there was some fucked up shit going around in my family, but at least I had them. You know what I'm saying? But I see my friends, they all turned to drugs.
Yeah.
A lot of them died from it.
Yeah, and that's a crazy thing too, man. Like just seeing people past that you have, you know, you just been around so much, and it's due to like decisions they made and just crazy shit, bro. Like the lifestyle be crazy, but in a sense though, is you being the testament with putting your music out in the way you do, bro. Like you helping a lot more people than you actually think. Yeah,
I'm realizing that now, and that just goes back to that conversation I had with Cap on the phone. Like he really opened my eyes, because I ain't gonna lie, I was like, I'm not gonna say embarrassed, but I'm definitely, I guess, self-conscious of it. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be known as that dude that's just crying over records. Like, that's not manly. That's not something I want to be, you know? But at the end of the day, bro, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Someone did it for me when I was young, you know? Like, I mentioned DMX a couple times. Bone Thugs was one of them.
And everybody you mentioned did it right. They did it to where you put that shit over a nice therapeutic beat with some therapeutic lyrics. Hey, I'm just saying, because I was just banging out. I mean, Another Night Nashville isn't that type, but the flow of it was like, oh damn. Like,
well, you could probably relate. That's what we was talking about before we started here. Like just being on the road all the time, being gone all the time. It's like,
yeah, man.
It's what you dream about. You want to be traveling. You want to be experiencing these things. You want to be popular in different cities. That's what I wanted when I was young, and now that it's coming around, it's like,
it's hard to deal with.
It's the losses that we don't post. That's what I'm saying. Like, my family's being destroyed little by little every time I'm gone for 2 or 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah,
and that sucks, bro.
But then it's crazy though, because being out and being able to obtain the things that we can do and travel and all that, and then kind of coming back to the reality that's here, it's a dark cloud, bro.
It is, bro.
And then I can relate. That's why I think that is why I related to that song so much, because it's like it's a gift and a curse to be able to, you know, have our dreams be answered or what we want to do, but then we gotta, you know, come back to some family crazy shit going on here, or even the post when like I said, I did a deep dive, man. You said the night your daughter was born, you went and did a show 2 hours away.
Yeah,
and you questioned it leaving, but it's kind of like, the factor is like, it's hard to differentiate to people. Like they might think that this shit is more important to them, but it's not. That's what I went through. Like the music it was never more important, but that's how I be looking sometimes.
Bro, I'm big on God. I really am. And like, when she was born, I felt like the right thing to do would be, you know, stay at the hospital. You just had your firstborn. Your girl's going through it. You know what I mean? But she was born in Mansfield, Ohio, and we had a big opportunity to open up for Yo Gotti in Dayton. This was like 2008, and I'm like, you know, being naive and young, I'm like, bro, if I just perform in front of Yo Gotti, it's over. We're going to the top. I just had a kid, so I'm tying it all together. I'm like, this is my story. I have to leave right now. And I left, and nothing really happened, you know, right away the way we all wanted to. But I met Robert Hood, you know Hood?
Yeah.
Boss Mag. So we met him. You know, we always followed what he had been doing. We met him, and that was like our first opportunity to burn a big quantity of CDs, or, you know, get CDs duplicated and passed out, you know, kind of, I guess, professionally at that time. And that's really where it grew from. That's where it grew from that night. I mean, who's to say we probably would have met somebody else down the road, but we met Hood that night, got like 5,000 CDs pressed up. A couple weeks after that, and that's when we kind of made our stamp for the first time out here. And you know, who knows what would have happened if I never would have left that hospital. And it eats me up still to this day. You know, I have to live with that.
Yeah.
But it's coming back full circle. You know, the decision I made, the sacrifice I made that night, I'm being rewarded for it 13 years later. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I did the same thing, man. I mean, I don't know if it was bad advice, but I remember somebody telling me, like, because I first had my son, and I was going through some crazy, like, just fuck, like, I can't move like I want to do, whatever the case is, like, and then I remember somebody telling me, they was just like, hey, man, like, you good at what you do, but if you want to do it now when he can't remember, which was kind of weird for him to say that.
Yeah.
But now it's making sense because like it was eating me up because shit, we want to be great dads, but it was eating me up when I was away. But now it's kind of like now I can bring him out of town or I could do certain things. So, you know, it's just it's a weird remorse we live through with certain shit. But, you know, as long as they don't get the best of us, though. That's why I can relate to your music and your story heavy because, you know, people don't understand the sacrifices and like the turmoil it gives us sometimes. And, you know, we make it look great. Well, it's just like, man, it's a different frequency we got to fall on to cope with all of this shit. I want to ask you about you and your dad's relationship too. The impact he had on you coming up. Like, how does that affect how you are a father now?
Man, that's a really good question. I'll have fun answering it. So my dad was everybody's dad, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, literally none of my friends have fathers. So he was everybody's dad, like, for real. So my dad, you know, we didn't have a lot. We lived in a 1-bedroom home. He designed it to, you know, create a couple different bedrooms for us. And he's my biggest supporter, bro. He always treated me like, I don't know, man. He never treated me like disciplined me, you know what I'm saying? He treated me like he would talk to me like a friend. And I think that's undermined it a little bit. I think, you know, I'm not a great parent by any means, but I talk to my kids similar to the way my dad talked to me, just like a friend, bro. Like, he would let me lose in front of his face and fall and fuck shit up and then be like, what'd you learn from it? Like, and really, you know, just try to pick apart things like that. And basically he just gave me a lot of freedom. Yeah. A lot of freedom. And, you know, I don't know, man. I see a lot of strict parents, and the outcomes of that is not the same as giving your kid giving them freedom, bro. Life. Like, you know, there's been times where I wanted to, you know, all my brothers and uncles was drug dealers. I wanted to sell some weed and I mess around and get robbed or something like that. And what'd you learn from that? Yeah. He ain't going out and trying to chase or save me. He always let me take my losses and my lumps. And I think that was probably the best thing that he ever did for me. And that was like a subconscious thing that I learned later in life that I picked up on. Like, he was doing that. I didn't realize it at the time. Yeah. Like, I'm never do. You know what I mean? But looking back at it, like, I appreciate my dad for not getting in my business, not taking me away from what I was trying to do, even though it was the wrong thing. You know, I got to learn from, you know, at a young age. And
so you transcend that to your kids now? Like,
yeah, I mean,
as far as
I definitely don't give my kids the freedom he gave me. I got girls, you know what I'm saying? But
big difference.
But I'll at least, you know, I'll let them decide who they want to be, what they want to be. Like, I wanted them to be musicians. They don't want to do anything with music, but, you know, I just let them have their own little personality and let it develop organically on their own. I don't try to, you know, that's the same thing my dad did. Nobody was a musician in my house. Right. I was inspired by whoever I was inspired by, and he, like, go ahead and run with it. As long as you love it, do it.
So let me ask you this. You don't got to answer it if you want to, but, well, how come you don't want to give yourself the credit as being a great dad? You just downplayed yourself.
I'm a good dad. Yeah, I think I'm a good dad, but I don't know, bro. I became a dad when I was a baby, bro. I was barely 17 years old. So, like, it was just kind of thrown at me. I was in a long distance relationships. I guess it's not that I think I'm a bad dad. There's just a lot of kind of like regrets. I hate to say that word, but like there's just, I was there, but I wasn't there in the beginning, and
just young. The maturity level wasn't.
I'm low key. I kind of grew up with my kid, if that makes any sense. Like I matured a lot while she was developing her own personality. So like my daughter's 13.
Yeah,
she's more. I treat her like a friend, like my dad did me. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that I'm a bad dad. I'm not what society's standard is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I asked that purposely just for the fact of like, you gotta give yourself credit in all four corners. You know what I mean? From the music into being the regular day-to-day person you are in fatherhood. Like, this ain't no Dr. Phil shit, but it's really, that's one thing I was coping with until I really understood. Like, shit didn't pan out. I maybe did some decisions that didn't make sense, but as long as we making it make sense now, shit, we don't just remember your purpose of it, remember your reason. That's all, and I think that helps us develop more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just to add on what you're saying, that's another reason for real that I'm chasing this so hard, because she was so present for every little thing that I was doing. And if I give up on myself, what example am I setting for her? Because
most terrible thought to have.
It is, bro. Like because I'm going. If I wasn't to chase this PESO, if I was not chasing this music, I promise you, I'm gonna sit around. I'm gonna sit around and be depressed, and I'm not gonna be a good human being to be around. And I don't want to be that for her. So even though I'm gone, and they hate it, but I'm gone a couple weeks out of the month, every month.
Trust me, I know.
She's gonna grow up like my dad made sacrifices.
Yeah.
And she has dreams. She has, aspirations to be a dancer. So, and she's really good at it.
And you be having her in the field with you. Like I seen when you had her on the stage with you. It was dope. I be having my son with me all the time when I'm working now. And just for them it's a difference when you gone and they wonder, but then when you are gone and they know why.
Yeah.
That it makes it easier, but then at the same time, it's just like, all right, like,
yeah, like I said, she was with me through this whole journey. She remembers dad sitting on a computer, learning how to make music, and I think that was my approach of bringing her on stage. You probably seen that clip where she was up on stage,
rocking.
That I really didn't want to do that because I think people are kind of weird, but I wanted her to see and experience that moment, because she was I got footage of her just playing and in the background of studio sessions and things like that. That was my first opportunity to be like, hey, all them times that I was ignoring you and telling you to go play in the other room or be quiet, this is why.
Yeah.
All these people are here because what I was doing in the bedroom, telling you to get away from me while I'm working type stuff. So she loves it. She downplays it a little bit because it don't make sense to her, like, that people like her dad. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but it's cool,
got a lot
man.
of fucking friends, pretty much.
Yeah.
For sure. Man, so let's tap in on the show a little bit, man. August 13th, JD Legends. Shouts out to Joe, because he set this up too, man. And man, just how did that feel, man? Like, just hitting that mark of 1,000+ tickets, the numbers is showing of the people who are coming to support. You got the live band going, you've been practicing, and I seen your first show you did ever hitting the stage was 08, and now all these years later you doing bro, it's not a lot of people can sell 1,000 tickets in the city.
Bro, I almost said no to the venue because how many people it holds. I'm like, we're not ready for that. I'm telling everyone around me, like, we are not ready.
So you was trying to go lower?
Yeah. I was trying to stay at like Odd Bodies,
right?
Because we sold Odd Bodies out in November, and people don't always repeat. They're not always gonna come back. They seen the show, they got that experience. They might come back, they might not. So I'm like, all right. We could do Odd Bodies and maybe push the capacity a little further. Maybe go up like 650, 700 people.
Yeah. But
you put 1,000 people, we are beyond 1,000 tickets sold now, but the venue's bigger.
Right.
So it's still gonna look, spread it out. It's gonna be 1,000 people.
But the venue
It's
gonna look
bigger,
so
and
big.
you don't want it to look spread out. But I think 1,000 people at JD Legends. I've already visited twice. I think 1,000 people is gonna look real thick.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect to do 1,000 though. So I'm thinking, all right, we sell 600 tickets. It's gonna not look like 600 people. So I was telling them, no, I'm not ready for that. But then in the back of my mind, it's like JD Legends just accepted you to come perform on their stage. They don't let local artists come there. They only book national acts and like what's it called when forget what it's called, but they're like they're playing other bands' music, tribute bands.
Okay.
So they book like tribute bands and other national acts,
but not locals.
They don't do local acts.
Yeah,
They've told us no millions of times. Joe pulled it off because if you know anything about Joe Masterson, he knows everybody, literally everybody. So he was able to pull that string, and I just said, all right, if y'all believe in it, let's do it. And it's I'm glad we did because I didn't think we could do 1,000 tickets sold, and we're above that. I'm really pushing for like I think we could probably get around 1,300.
Yeah, ain't that the capacity in there? Or
I think 1,500.
15.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a lot in Dayton, man.
That is, and it's not. That's another thing. It's not even Dayton. It's like south of Dayton.
Right.
It's actually a decent little drive for real. It's not too far, but it is kind of far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but shit, they coming. Well, explain the preparation for this show, man. What have you been preparing just to make this show like just as significant as you promoting it? Like what you been doing?
Yeah, so for the past, I quit my job like 12 months ago, and I kind of toured with Jelly Roll, which was crazy because every show was like 5,000 plus people.
Right.
But I'm recording over just, with a DJ. They all had bands behind them, and I'm like, man, I need a band. I actually started making music because of the guys that are in my band now that's going to be with me at JD Legends. They always had drums, guitars, bass, keyboard in their house. Mm-hmm. I couldn't play none of those instruments.
Right.
So having them with me is really cool. Like I said, life comes back full circle. I'm in it. Like we got a band of a group of guys that I grew up with playing around with the idea of making music. So that's dope in itself. But like I said, when I was touring all last year, I never prepared for nothing. I was just like, these are the songs I recorded. These are the songs we're going to play. Go up there, fumble the words a couple times. That's another L we don't talk about on social media. There's been several times I'm performing in front of 5,000 people and just completely lose it. Like, I don't know the words. Almost like Eminem, just choking. Like, I can't do that no more. So the way we've been preparing, we've actually been doing like band practices, which has been real fun. I kind of been dumping like little TikTok and reels and stuff at the fans, and been getting a good reaction off of it. It's been real fun, man. That's what it's about, bro. I'm just having fun with it. But yeah, we've been practicing like 2 or 3 times a week. This week we're on practice every day leading up to the show. It's just been fun, bro. I've just been having a lot of fun with this.
Absolutely. Then you got the merch. I want you to detail that a little bit. Hardcode is Alaska.
Yeah,
that's you, right?
Yeah. It's a record I got called Alaska, and I took those lyrics. So my heart colder than Alaska was a bar from my brother Two Face. The first time he ever recorded with me, he said, forget how he worded it, but he's like, yeah, I don't remember how he worded it, but he definitely said my heart colder than Alaska, and it was like one of those quotable lyrics out of that verse. And I'm like, that was a way to like, keep his legacy living. I said that, it stuck. We was in the studio and we was all having fun with it and wrapped it up, and it just kind of stuck. Yeah,
it's dope. The gear dope. It look well stitched, nice. I'm like, okay.
It is nice.
Quality, yeah.
The quality's super nice. Just trial and error, bro. I've printed up other merch that was terrible, and you get kind of the feedback from it, and you learn from it. And I definitely take it serious. If somebody's gonna buy something from me, I'm gonna spend that extra money to make sure the quality's there. And I think we're at a spot where the merch is really dope now. We actually got more merch. I'm gonna have to show you off camera.
Definitely. That's
coming out at the concert on the 13th. It kind of fits the same theme, but it's dope, bro. I'm gonna show you. Fans, you'll see it up there at the concert. It's super dope.
Man, what you want your legacy to be, man? It's all
These are questions that I have been trying to prepare for, bro, because I really ain't asking for a lot. But if there's anything that I could ask for, it's just that God puts the music and my message in front of the people that need it. That's really it, bro. I don't need financial blessings. I don't need none of the material things. I just pray to God that he just puts the music in front of the people that need it. It don't have to be everybody. Just whoever needs it. That's it.
Brother, for you to be unprepared, that was a great answer.
That's really because it's true.
Yeah.
That's really how I feel. It don't have to be everybody, just whoever needs it, bro. Yeah. I needed just the same way. I'm gonna keep on saying it. I'll say it till I'm dead. I needed DMX at times, bro.
Yeah.
I'm slipping, I'm falling, I can't get up. I'm a baby, like singing that and understanding it. So when I create my music, I knew that there was a way to put your pain behind music and it still resonate.
Yeah, and you doing a great job at channeling it, man. Like,
thank you.
Like the way you analyze and then a certain way how you want to put it, so you don't look like one of these whiny ass rappers.
Yeah,
it ain't looking like that.
Oh, but that's good.
It
that's
ain't to
great
me though. And I feel like, bro, it'll be so difficult for somebody to just try to dismiss or hate something that's organically well did, and it's like, damn, like shit. Even if it ain't your cup of tea, shit, it still got a good melody to it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro, because like I don't listen to it. I still listen to what I feel like everybody else is listening to. When I listen to music, I want it to make me feel good,
Right.
And I understand my music wasn't doing that, and that is why I steered away from making music.
And I heard somebody say, you gotta be selfish making it and selfless when you put it out. I think that.
Yeah, and I think I do a good job of that, bro, because like I have no expectations, bro, and I think that's another thing why I've been getting these small blessings is I don't have no expectation anymore. A lot of times, and even I'm a victim of it when I was younger, like I'd create music thinking like I'm gonna get all the girls, I'm gonna get all the money, I'm gonna get all the chains and the cars, and like when you don't have an expectation, that's when God's gonna really give you the blessings that you deserve instead of the blessings that you want,
Definitely. And then on top of that, you just gotta stick through it enough to make it make sense. Like it's kinda like as long as you stick through it long enough, it'll show itself why it's gonna make sense. That's one thing I realized with my journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Like
Man, last question, man.
All right.
What's a good piece of advice or quote that you live off of?
That's a good question, man, because I don't know, bro. Like when I was born the second week, my great grandfather, he was a priest at a church, and he dedicated my life to God. And I promise you, like these are what we was talking about, sweeping things under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
These are things we never talked about. But my whole walk through life, I always felt like a higher power was watching me. Anytime I want to do something, make like sinning, wanting to be sinful, I felt a presence like, yo, don't do that. So like I wouldn't say there's necessarily a quote that I live by. I just really truly walk with God every day.
Definitely.
Literally every day, every time. Like we're always constantly thinking of things. I'm always constantly talking to God. And I mean, like that's literally what it is. I wouldn't say there's a certain quote that I live by. I just believe in God, bro, and I feel like I can hear what he's telling me to do now more than ever.
Definitely.
And it's been paying off.
Yeah, it sounds like you just got like some good mental clarity right now.
Yeah, man, and there's a blessing in everything, man. I'm glad that I've walked through the life that I walked through and experienced the losses and stuff, because it definitely makes me stronger and makes me prepare for this situation, knowing that there's people gonna come to me like, yo, I'm struggling, I hear it in your songs, I'm dealing with these same things, like how do you do it? And the truth is, like, I still deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I still deal with these mental health, and
you gotta be ready for it when it comes. I think that's all the preparation is. Like I said, I side by side I outline my story with yours. Like it's different, but at the same time, like feelings and emotions and all of that, I think everybody go through that. It's inevitable, and then it's just us finding a better way to navigate through it though.
Yeah.
Man, JD Legends, August 13th. I'm gonna put this out a week before, promo it, and I really appreciate you coming, bro.
Man, thank you for having me, bro.
Real,
Thank
bro.
you,
Like
thank
I this is one of my favorites I did, man. So
yeah, thanks, bro. Thanks. I've been wanting to meet you forever, bro. I already told you. I've been trying to get videos since I was like 16.
Man,
Yeah.
we building now. This this ain't the last interaction. This ain't the last pod. This ain't the last whatever. So
yeah, definitely not, for sure.
Man, Dreamers Welcome Podcast. Y'all keep on dreaming. We out.
Dreamers Welcome Podcast.